Sku, the 1980s is a very fertile place for toy lines.
We've done a lot of reviews of 1980s toys.
We have.
It's a theme.
We have.
Maybe because we were kids in the 80s.
Quite possibly. But at the very least, part of that is due to the fact that in the 80s there was an explosion of different toy lines which had cartoons and comic books and just general multimedia exploitation. And of course, as with anything which is popular, there will be the imitations and derivations of those things. So with that in mind, I brought along this, which is from the M.A.S.K toy line.
I remember M.A.S.K, but I don't really remember a lot about M.A.S.K, to be honest. I remember just trucks and planes and vehicles and people wearing masks and some kind of, they always had a safety message at the end of the program, that's all I remember. Some kind of moral of the story.
Good old PSA at the end of the cartoon.
Hitchhiking is dangerous. You never know who's going to pick you up. The person who picks him up could be a venom agent, or worse, a child molester.
So M.A.S.K to some extent could be viewed as sort of a copycat of Transformers a little bit. The whole idea was that they had these vehicles which changed form from one vehicle to another type of vehicle, which is generally an attack vehicle of some sort. They came with these little drivers, and each of the drivers had this mask. Now the mask supposedly gave them some sort of superhuman power. So the one which I brought along today is the Manta, with its driver Vanessa Warfield, who is actually a bad guy.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it was very rare for us to see female action figures in toy lines in the 80s anyway. With M.A.S.K, you could kind of say that the vehicles themselves are probably more the star than the actual figures. But the fact that they chose to bring out a female and a bad guy fairly early on is really interesting.
Brave.
Yeah.
Vanessa, if you ever concentrated on driving instead of hating, you'd probably win all the time.
Okay, let's take a look at this car. So it looks like a normal car, but there's probably going to be more going on here.
You'd be right. So we'll just move Vanessa out of the way here. So as you can see, it's got a couple of these buttons on the front here.
Okay.
And then we just pull out the rear spoiler. Flip around these ones here.
Oh, that's quite
and
cool.
You've got yourself a cool little jet.
A flying car.
Flying car complete with missiles and machine guns.
So the advantages are obvious, I guess. You've got a car and you've got a plane and the two go together. I don't know why people don't think of this in real life and actually make one of these.
Well, you know, they've tried, but it's never worked out all that very well.
I'm free. I'm finally free.
But of course the cool thing is that there's still an additional feature.
Wow.
If you've got somebody in your passenger seat that you don't particularly like, you can always press the other button on the front here and eject them.
Out the bottom.
Out the bottom. Now this ejector seat does seem to have some guns on it, so maybe they're supposed to fly off and attack someone else. I can't quite remember, but it seems like an ejector seat going downwards to me, so...
Attention! Manta sort ses armes pour le prendre à revers. Mais les hommes de M.A.S.K n'ont pas dit leur dernier mot. M.A.S.K, tous les coups sont permis.
So looking at this, a toy that is 28 years old,
Yep.
I'm impressed. I think it's held up pretty well. All the parts still work even all these years later.
They do.
It's a cool design. I think I would have liked that as a kid. A car that turns into some sort of rocket attack flying vehicle. You get two in one, don't you? So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Sense is not something which we were big on in the 80s.
Electronic, supersonic.
So that's the Manta from M.A.S.K. Cool 80s toy.
Yeah.
What do you guys reckon? Is it cool or is it not cool?
It's cool.
Yeah, well anyway, leave us a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we're out of here. And Scott, we're out of here, right? Let's get out of here.
Remember, illusion is the ultimate weapon, but toy reviewing is even cooler.